Hello, home bosses. If you've ever struggled to design a good cover for your puzzle or activity book, you're definitely not alone. A great cover isn't about being a professional designer. It's about clarity, contrast, and a good layout. And we can all produce a good cover. Because today I'm going to show you a super simple way to design covers that stand out using what I call the 3-2-1 formula. So step 1 in the 3-2-1 formula is the 3, which stands for the 3 key zones. So think of your cover as having 3 key zones. And for that, just divide your cover into 3 sections. At the top third, you've got your title, big, bold, and easy to read, even at thumbnail size. And that is important because most of your customers will see your cover on Amazon in a very small thumbnail size, especially if they're browsing on their phones. So it's important that they can read your title really well. And right underneath it goes your subtitle. And this is where you explain what the book is or who it's for. And it's really important to remember not to keyword stuff your subtitle. I still see that quite a lot on Amazon. Just explain who your book is for. That's all the subtitle is about. So, for example, the title can be Ultimate Word Search and the subtitle can be Fun Brain Games for Adults and Seniors. And that pairing tells readers exactly what they're getting. So it makes it really clear. And then the middle bit on your cover is the middle third, and that is your visual zone. This is where you can have fun. You can have a Sudoku grid, a maze, or an image that gives a quick visual clue about the content. And it's important to keep it clean. One strong image works far better than a busy collage. I sometimes see that people are trying to put too many images or too many visuals in that area and it gets really crowded. So even if you just have one image, it works really well. And then finally, you have the bottom third, the bottom part of your cover, and that is for your author name or your logo area. It's there for credibility and balance, but it shouldn't compete with your title. So think of it as the closing note on your design. So it tends to be a smaller font and the title should be the biggest, and then the subtitle, and then the author name or your logo should be quite small. I know some authors have got their names in really big letters, but that is because they're famous. So their name is what sells their books. So they usually have it in really big letters. But for a puzzle book or something like that, where the author is not really that important, we just have a smaller author name or even just a logo. And some puzzle books or activity books don't even have an author name, so it's absolutely fine. So let's hop over to Amazon and I'll quickly show you what I mean. So we're on Amazon.com and I've typed in puzzle books into the search bar and I'm just going to scroll down a little. And these books here are quite a good example of what I'm trying to explain to you. So I'm quickly going to have a look at that. So remember I said there's a top third and a middle bit and a bottom third. So if you imagine that you divide the books into 3 areas, you've got the top, the middle, and the bottom. And like I said earlier, the top third is where you have your title and your subtitle. The middle is where you have your visuals. So for example, you can have a crossword puzzle or a maze or whatever your puzzle book is about. And by the way, this is the same principle for any type of book. So it's not just for puzzle books, but puzzle books are a really good example to show you what the 3 zones are all about. And the bottom third is where you either put your author name or your logo area. And we can have a look at the books we've got in front of us here. And you can see the first one, Mega Book of Mixed Puzzles, that actually has those 3 areas. You've got the Mega Book of Mixed Puzzles as the title in the top third, and then you've got the puzzles in the middle third, and then you've got kind of like a little explanation. It hasn't got an author name, but if you had an author name for this book, it would be right at the bottom. And you can sometimes even put your subtitle there if it gets too crowded in the top third. And if you have a look at the second book, Daily Peace of Mind, it still follows that principle, because you've got Daily Peace of Mind kind of taking the top third and the middle third, and then everything else is right at the bottom. It hasn't got the visuals that you would expect for an activity book. So my view on this book is it stands out because it's very different from any other activity books. It's still a good book cover. Personally, I prefer to show the type of puzzles that are inside the book on the cover. I think that just fits in better with the type of niche that we're in, but it's completely up to you. It's your book, so you can decide what kind of cover you want to design, and it's still a really good book cover. But I personally, this is just my personal opinion, I feel that the books that have an example of the inside puzzles tend to do a little bit better. And as you can see, the BSR for this book is 145,000, which isn't bad, but it's not one of the top selling or the top ranking books. And maybe the cover has something to do with it, I'm not sure. But if you look at the book on the right of it, Relaxing Brain Games for Adults, it's also taken over the top and the middle third for the title. So you've got Relaxing Brain Games for Adults dominating most of the cover. It does give you a hint that it's a puzzle book with the background. I don't know if you can see it. There is like a word search puzzle in the background and a Sudoku in the bottom right hand corner. So you can still kind of see that it's puzzle related. And then the one on the right of that is very different. It's just got one color, and then it's got basically just the font speaking for the cover. It's just a font design really, and it tells you that it's logic puzzles, Sudoku, and mazes, word searches, crosswords, acrostics, coloring, and more. And the title is The Ultimate Fun Adult Activity Book, and it's covering the whole cover. It's interesting. It's still taking into account the 3 key zones. It's, if you can see, it's got a top third, a middle third, and a bottom third. So it does apply that principle, but it's very different in the way that the middle third doesn't really show the crosswords or the interior. It isn't so much the visual zone. The whole cover is the visual zone, and it's based on the font rather than anything else. And it hasn't done this book too much harm, because as you can see, the BSR is 1,509 in all of Amazon books. So that is a really, really good BSR, and that means this book sells quite a lot of copies. And then on the right of that, we've got a more typical puzzle book, the Easy and Relaxing Memory Activity Book for Adults. And as you can see, this does follow the principle that I told you about. The top third has the title and subtitle in it. The middle third has the examples of the puzzles that are inside the book. And the bottom third has got either like a little explanation. You could have the author name as well if you wanted to, or you could have your logo. So this is really my own preference for puzzle books, and you can see this has a BSR of 202. That is amazing. I think that is definitely a bestseller, and that it's probably making this author thousands of dollars per month. So I think those are really good designs for puzzle books. And I would say concentrate on that type of design. You can experiment with other designs, but I think this is the most recognizable type of puzzle book design, and they tend to do very well. So I wouldn't reinvent the wheel. I would just copy what works for people. So that is just to explain to you what I meant by the 3 key zones, and let's go into step number 2. So like I said, this is the 3-2-1 formula, and step 1 was the 3 key zones, and now we're going to step 2, which is 2 contrasts. And by that I mean that every good cover needs 2 kinds of contrast. So that means using bright complementary colors. Puzzle and activity books should look fun and energetic. So for example, you could have blue and yellow or red and white. So if you have a look on Amazon and check out what other puzzle book covers do, especially the ones that are selling well. Take inspiration from there and choose contrasting colors. And then the second contrast is font contrast. So use one display font for your title, something bold and playful, and pair it with a clean, simple font for your subtitle or author name. So just stick to 2 fonts maximum. It keeps your design professional and balanced. I still see a lot of covers on Amazon that have lots of fonts on one cover, and it kind of makes it look a little bit unprofessional. So just stick to 2 fonts, that's fine. And then step 3, the 1, is one clear focus. So here's the golden rule. Every good cover has one clear focus. If someone sees your book for just half a second, they should instantly know what kind of book it is and who it's for. And if your cover feels busy or confusing, you need to simplify it. Clarity always sells better than detail. And here's a bonus tip for you, and that is the 5-second test. Show your cover to someone for 5 seconds and then ask them, what kind of book do you think that was? If they can answer right away, you've nailed it. But if not, tweak your layout until they can. So that is the 3-2-1 formula. 3 key zones, 2 types of contrast, and 1 clear focus. It's simple, it's memorable, and it really works, especially for puzzle and activity books. So if you'd like me to do a step-by-step tutorial on designing these covers in Canva, let me know in the comments. Oh, and there's something coming up in a future video that is going to really help you create professional covers within minutes. So stay tuned and look out for that video. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on creating and selling your own books online. And if you found this video helpful, send it to someone who's struggling with their book covers. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching The Home Boss, where ideas turn to gold. Every page, every story, another dream unfolds. The Home Boss, create and prosper, don't